Whether in the era of old Hollywood or the Hollywood of now, movie making is not as glamorous as it seems to be. Actors and directors are human, and as such they don't always get along with their co-workers. In the unique situation of the film set, human nature sometimes takes over. Conflicts are formed, heated words are exchanged, and, on occasion, punches are thrown. While some relationships are patched up, others remain strained or irreparably broken. So let's dive into the 10 times actors got into fights on set. Number 10. Bette Davis versus Joan Crawford.
I was just wondering who all those people were at the back door.
Wasn't anything. Just that nosy Mrs. Bates going on about your picture last night.
Oh, really? Did she like it? Oh, really? Did she like it?
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is the only film in which Hollywood Golden Age greats Joan Crawford and Bette Davis starred together. It also provided the basis for a rivalry that is renowned to this day. See Ryan Murphy miniseries Feud, Bette and Joan. Starting in the 30s, Davis and Crawford's bickering peaked during the production of the cult classic movie. For starters, Davis wouldn't sign on to the film until she had assurances from director Robert Aldrich that she would play the title role and that he wasn't sleeping with Crawford. During filming, both actors called Aldrich nightly to complain about the other. For the scene in which Davis drags Crawford out of bed, Crawford, knowing Davis had back problems, made herself as heavy as possible and ensured multiple takes by deliberately ruining the scene. Fuel was added to the fire when the Academy nominated Davis for an Oscar for Baby Jane, snubbing Crawford. Davis didn't win, and Crawford got her revenge by collecting the Best Actress Oscar on behalf of Anne Bancroft. The actors traded nasty barbs throughout their careers. On Crawford's death, Davis was reported to have said, "You should never say bad things about the dead, you should only say good. Joan Crawford is dead. Good."
Feldman was very upset. He told me the company had a very bad year and they couldn't have...
No, they didn't. They had a great year. They didn't want to show my film. They were too busy giving a big build-up to that crap you were turning out.
Before we continue, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more spicy content like this video. It's a small gesture for you, but very bit of support makes a big difference for us. Now let's keep rolling. Number 9. Roman Polanski versus Faye Dunaway.
Never.
That's what I thought. You see, I'm Mrs. Evelyn Mulray. You know Mr. Mulray's wife?
Not,
Roman Polanski's neo-noir masterpiece Chinatown, 1974, was the last movie he made in the US before fleeing the country. Although the finished film is one of the finest, its production was made difficult due to the behind-the-scenes conflict that raged between Polanski and star Faye Dunaway. After Dunaway stormed off set when Polanski claimed a loose hair was ruining the shot, and promptly plucked it from her head, Polanski retorted that Dunaway had displayed certifiable proof of insanity. When Dunaway once asked for her character's motivation, Polanski said it was her paycheck. The meticulous Polanski demanded multiple retakes during a particular scene filmed in a car. Dunaway asked to use the bathroom, and when Polanski refused, she urinated into a cup and threw it in the director's face. Arguably, Dunaway's brilliantly neurotic performance directly resulted from the tension between her and Polanski. However, by the 1980s, Dunaway had developed a reputation for being difficult to work with.
because I don't want to lose my license.
I don't know what you are talking about. This is the craziest, the most insane thing.
Stop it!
Number 8. Herbert Ross versus the cast of Steel Magnolias.
Why would you deliberately do this to yourself?
Diabetics have healthy babies all the time.
You are special, Shelby. There are limits to what you can do.
Herbert Ross rubbed many, if not all, of his cast members up the wrong way while filming the beloved tearjerker Steel Magnolias, 1989. Members of the legendary ensemble cast, including Sally Field, Shirley MacLaine, Olympia Dukakis, Dolly Parton, and Julia Roberts, have since spoken out against Ross's harsh on-set demeanor. The movie was one of Roberts' earliest roles that helped make her a megastar, but it was a harrowing experience for her, according to co-stars Field and MacLaine. The veteran actors stood up for Robert when Ross criticized her acting ability and, at one point, told her to have the mole under her right eye removed. Roberts' revenge was being nominated for an Academy Award. Parton was also criticized for her acting ability, with the director telling her she needed acting lessons. In her 1994 autobiography, the Queen of Country Music says she stood up to Ross, telling him, "I'm not an actress. I'm a personality who has been hired to do this movie. You're the director. It's your job to make me look like I'm acting." On a positive note, Ross's poor behavior resulted in camaraderie among the cast members to this day. None of them attended Ross's funeral in 2001.
It's time. Daddy, it's time. Daddy, it's time. It's time.
It's time!
Number 7. David O. Russell versus George Clooney, Lily Tomlin, and Amy Adams.
What's this? Whoa!
Director David O. Russell has locked horns with a few actors, starting with George Clooney on the set of Three Kings. Clooney wasn't happy with how Russell treated the extras and called him out on it. An unhappy Russell responded, "Why don't you just fucking remember your lines for once?" which almost led the men to blows. After filming, Clooney vowed he'd never with the director again. The strained relationship between Russell and Lily Tomlin on the set of I Heart Huckabees was backed up by leaked behind-the-scenes footage showing Tomlin being screamed at by Russell during one of his renowned tantrums. When asked about it later, Tomlin said that she'd moved on and adored Russell for his directorial talent. Speaking about starring in Russell's 2013 con movie American Hustle, a couple of years after the film's release, Amy Adams relayed that the filmmaker's approach, which included shouting at the actors mid-scene, had made her cry. Like Clooney, Adams vowed never to work with Russell in the future.
I'll come back to you and interconnection.
Brad, are you kidding me? I'm gonna work on that prick and it's all gonna come back to pain and no connection.
No, it's on.
We'll see. We'll see.
Number 6. Bill Murray versus Lucy Liu.
Crunch time. Your hearts will be so buff, you will be able to clean and jerk his love. 3 sets, 10 reps each.
Thanks, boss. Thanks, you, boss.
Excuse me, I have to take a phone call.
In 2021, Lucy Liu came forward to speak about how co-star Bill Murray treated her on the set of Charlie's Angels. Liu's revelations that Murray had halted filming to hurl insults at her and tell her she couldn't act were backed up by fellow Angel, Drew Barrymore. Liu reacted by throwing punches at Murray before the pair had to be physically separated. Their relationship was so fractured that Murray refused to appear in the 2003 sequel, Charlie's Angels: Full Throttle, if Liu was attached to the project. He didn't win that fight and was replaced by Bernie Mac.
What's happening, angels?
Number 5. Christian Bale versus Shane Hurlbut.
Kyle is out there somewhere alone. Skynet is hunting him.
What about the signal?
What do you think?
Shane Hurlbut was director of photography on MSEG's 2009 film, Terminator Salvation. During filming, Hurlbut was subjected to a profanity-laden tirade from the movie's star, Christian Bale, after he walked into the actor's line of sight during an intense scene with Bryce Dallas Howard. An audio recording of the blow-up was leaked and immediately went viral. While some of the crew present defended Bale's rant, he later publicly apologized for it, telling Los Angeles radio station K-Rock that he had acted like a punk.
You and me. We've been at war since before either of us even existed.
Number 4. Shia LeBeouf versus Tom Hardy.
Hey, you, come on out. You don't want to do this. Why don't you put that knife away, take you and your friends on home?
I'd listen to you if I was you.
He's the boss.
What went down between Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy on the set of Lawless is unclear, as there are different accounts of the feud. According to LaBeouf, he and Hardy would wrestle on the set for fun. When Hardy walked in on LeBeouf and his then-girlfriend during an intimate moment, Hardy picked up his naked co-star, throwing him over his shoulder. As the pair proceeded to wrestle, Hardy accidentally fell down some stairs. Hardy apparently went around the set stating that LeBeouf had knocked him out. However, director John Hillcoat tells a different story. During a Reddit AMA in 2016, he confirmed that there was a fight between the two actors and that they had to be physically restrained before they came to blows. Number 3, Tom Hardy versus Charlize Theron.
All right. This is your way home.
Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron opened up about their infamous feud on the set of the 2015 post-apocalyptic drama. Hardy blamed the pressure of filming, while Theron claimed that she didn't appreciate how hard it must have been for Hardy to step into Mel Gibson's The Original Mad Max shoes. But with the release of Kyle Buchanan's book Blood, Sweat, and Chrome, the wild and true story of Mad Max, the plot thickened as more details were revealed. Theron said she'd been scared of Hardy, and that there'd been a heated encounter between the two after Hardy showed up to set 3 hours late. Theron was so shaken by the incident that she had producer Denise Dinovi shadow her to ensure no further conflicts with her co-star. The tension between Hardy and Theron seemingly worked for the film. It won 6 Oscars from 10 nominations. Number 2, Tony Kaye versus Edward Norton. Tony Kaye disliked Edward Norton even before filming started on the race relations drama American History X. Kaye, in his directorial debut, his previous work being tire commercials, accused Norton of being a narcissistic dilettante and claimed he didn't have the acting chops to pull off the part of Derek Vineyard. During the editing process, Kaye and Norton butted heads so much over what the finished film should look like that New Line Cinema boss Michael DeLuca banned the director from entering the cutting room. Norton's final cut made a frustrated Kaye so incensed that he punched a wall, breaking his hand. In a bizarre twist, Kaye requested his name be removed from the movie and that it be called a Humpty Dumpty film, instead trying to legally change his name to Humpty Dumpty. He further alienated himself by bringing a Catholic priest, a rabbi, and a Tibetan monk into a studio meeting. While Norton was nominated for an Oscar for his performance, it would be more than 10 years before the volatile Kaye returned to directing movies.
Put your hands behind your head!
Number 1, Harrison Ford versus Ridley Scott.
Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Just answer the questions, please.
After a break of 35 years, Harrison Ford returned to play Rick Deckard in the Blade Runner sequel Blade Runner 2049, which was surprising given the beef he had working with director Ridley Scott while filming the original. The beef started when the director and star disagreed over whether Deckard was a replicant. Scott wanted him to be one. Ford vehemently disagreed. The two fought about it constantly, with Scott working elements of Deckard's replicant status into numerous cuts of the movie. Scott's directing style, cold and aloof, and working long hours in LA's stifling heat only added to the turmoil. Ford and Scott are still arguing about the movie. Denis Villeneuve, who directed the sequel, experienced the ongoing feud firsthand when the three attended a dinner together before filming Blade Runner 2049. Not wanting to be drawn into the decades-long argument, Villeneuve, intelligently, left the question of whether Deckard is a replicant for the audience to decide. We've explored the 10 most controversial film set feuds. It's not all gold and glamour behind the scenes. Which feud shocked you the most? Are there other clashes that should have made the list? Share your thoughts below. If you liked this insider's view of Hollywood, please like the video. Your support helps the channel and encourages me to keep creating content. Not subscribed yet? Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to not miss future episodes filled with intrigue and surprises.